Some places are left to rot for a reason. They become tombs of industry, their stories whispered only by the wind rattling through shattered windows. These are the places that call to the urban explorers. A man named Christopher Brian Hill, known to the digital world as Urbex Hill, answers that call.
For a decade, he has plunged himself into the forgotten darkness, capturing raw, unfiltered journeys into the country's most terrifying abandoned husks. But in these places, you are never truly alone, and sometimes what you run into does not want you to leave. For explorers like Chris, the dangers are very, very real. Vicious, feral dogs guarding their territory, hostile squatters with nothing left to lose, the very air thick with poison, the structures themselves ready to collapse and entomb you forever. Venturing into the unknown, into a place left to die, is a gamble with your own life.
Westinghouse was a titan, born from the mind of Thomas Edison, a place where geniuses like Nikola Tesla walked these very halls, bending lightning to their will. The air echoes are still here. For decades it hummed with power, with life, until 1979. For over 40 years, the factory has been a siren's call to the curious and the brave, a magnet for those who wish to dance with its ghosts. Its legend was even cemented in Hollywood, its decaying walls serving as the backdrop for an interrogation scene in the first Avengers movie. But 10 years after the fantasy, Chris arrived to film the reality, and the nightmare hiding within. As Chris steps onto the grounds, the only sound is the night's unnerving chorus of crickets. There is no sign of life, or so he thinks, but the silence is soon shattered. Gunshots tearing through the night. It's a grim reminder that for years Cleveland has been ranked as one of the most dangerous cities in the United States, that this exploration is now infinitely more dangerous.
Here's somebody shooting. That's Cleveland. Wow. That's crazy. It's not even that far away from here. Oh, that sounds like a shootout.
But Chris has walked through the halls of abandoned asylums and stared into the darkness of forgotten occult temples. He pushes the fear down and steps inside the decaying beast. Ported almost immediately, a chilling sign of recent occupancy. A mattress on the floor, someone or something has been sleeping here. As he moves deeper, the only sound that can be heard in the oppressive darkness is the crunch of his own footsteps. He descends, down into the basement, into the building's gut. The air grows heavy. The footage becomes a journey into pure claustrophobia, a labyrinth of dead ends under a weeping, mouldy ceiling.
Maybe it's an animal. There's animals down here.
And that's when he hears it. A strange noise skittering somewhere in the blackness. He dismisses it at first, trying to convince himself it's just an animal. Then he finds them. Cold, brass warnings on the filthy ground. Shell casings. Likely from a 9mm handgun, perhaps. It was police training, a rational explanation to calm the nerves. But in a place like this, you can never be sure what violence has transpired. Nearby cryptic messages are scrawled on the walls, warnings from unseen hands. He pushes on, down corridors that seem to shrink around him, and it is here that the true nightmare begins.
This place is so wet. Oh, scared the out of me. Yo. You need some help, bro? Yo. Dad. He's not even responding. I'm gonna leave him alone. Get the out of his way. Bro, that's crazy.
After 20 minutes of searching the depths, his visit takes a terrifying turn. They're there at the far end of the room, a stooped, silent figure consumed by the shadows, hunched over without a light. Chris calls out, offering help, but the figure remains perfectly still. a statue carved from nightmare. Chris, unnerved, decides to back away. You can hear his breathing quicken.
I held that bro. You get this thing $20. Yo. Hey, I got some money for you. He's not there, and he's not responding.
4 minutes later, a moment of compassion that could prove to be a fatal mistake. Chris decides to go back to offer the man some money. He returns to the room, and a cold dread washes over him. The space is empty. The figure has vanished.
There's a lot of bats down here too.
How long has this silent predator been stalking him through these decaying halls? What are its intentions? Top moments later, the shape is seen moving outside, a phantom against the passing headlights. Chris thinks he hears the man say hello, a ghost on the audio. A lure into the darkness. Just as he decides to flee, a sound that does not belong here cuts through the silence. The low, buzzing vibration of a cell phone confirming his deepest fear. The man isn't alone. They are down here with him, hiding in the dark. He's had enough. He makes a run for it, escaping into the night, his heart hammering against his ribs, leaving the secrets of the factory and its silent watchers behind.
He never found out who that man was, and he has never ever returned.
Number 5. Today on the Horror Podcast, sometimes a house doesn't become abandoned, it becomes a tomb. In February 2020, explorer Rhythm Rider, along with his partner Zay Clark, stepped across the threshold of one such place. They were told the house belonged to an old woman who had passed away, but they had no idea how she passed. What they found inside was deeply unsettling. Unlike most derelict homes, this one was pristine. A time capsule being through her, a buried possession was left exactly where it had been, untouched by the outside world, indicating that no one and no thing had scavenged its secrets. All throughout the silent rooms, a life was on full display. Beautiful tableware waiting for a dinner guest who would never arrive, intricate tapestries.
Happening, and then it did. When we walked in here, we took a few steps in the door, and we saw this on the ground. Now, for those who can't figure that, figure out what that is a body stain. And you can see right there, there's a walker. So, unfortunately, it seems that the woman who had lived here had taken a bad fall, landed on the floor, and that's where she expired, unfortunately. It's extremely, extremely sad to us. It took us a good 20 minutes to decide what we're going to do here, and despite it feeling weird, we figured we still need to tell the story because this is a good reminder to everybody that you need to check on your loved ones. It seemed this woman had passed and was laying here for God knows how long before she was found, so check in on your loved ones, guys.
The terrible truth becomes clear. She fell, and she could not get up. She passed away right on that spot, alone, helpless. Number 4. Some places earn their names through whispers and through fear. According to John, the explorer who captured this footage, this location is known only as the Occult Mansion. The name is not a recent invention. It comes from the mansion's original master, an occult high priest who once made this his unholy sanctuary. The townspeople spoke of strange phenomena leaking from the property, a direct result, they believed, of the dark rituals performed within its walls. To today, the priest is gone, but his stain on the property remains. The mansion sits abandoned, a monument to a dark history that no one dares to buy, that no one wants to live in. There have been sporadic attempts to renovate it, to wash away the past. But as this video shows, the house remains empty. Waiting in 2019, John set out to explore the occult mansion. He went at night. And he went alone. But he was about to learn that he was not the only one inside.
Hearing stuff upstairs, but I'm hoping, and I mean this, I really hope that it's paranormal and not someone freaking in here. My keys are making noises. Freaking somebody down there, dude. Come on, quit messing with me. I'm just trying to freaking, I'll leave. There's somebody else in here. As I've got myself in a bad situation. Oh, jeez.
Upstairs, the noises return, this time with more aggression. They are louder. It's clear to John now that someone else is in here, toying with him from the shadows. He calls out, his voice swallowed by the darkness, insisting he only wants to explore and means no harm. The person making the noise does not respond. They just continue to hide.
It's forward open. Oh my God, 3 lantern. Hello? Is there somebody here? I'm not here to bother or rob anything. I was just here exploring. I thought it was a band. Oh, baby. Oh. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
The words are not a warning, they are a direct threat. I'm gonna kill you. Before catching a single glimpse of who it is, John's survival instinct takes over. He runs out of the mansion and doesn't dare look back. It leaves terrifying, unanswered questions. Who was in that house? How long had they been watching him? And were they just trying to scare him? Or were their intentions far more violent? According to many, it's highly unlikely this was another urban explorer. In that community, there is a code, a mutual respect. You do not intentionally terrorize another person in a location that is already inherently dangerous. To make noises and then scream a death threat is an act of pure hostility, something far outside the bounds of a prank. This leaves the chilling question, who could have screamed at John? It could have been a territorial squatter who wanted no visitors. But because John ran for his life before he could see anyone, the truth of who was in that mansion will likely remain unknown forever. There are those who run from urban legends, and then there are those who hunt them down, known for their paranormal explorations and deep dives into the unknown. Luan and his team of investigators willingly step into eerie locations tied to ghost stories and unexplained encounters, but seek out the places that already carry a heavy atmosphere, places that feel wrong long before they even arrive. On December the 9th, 2021, their hunt led them to a location shrouded in a particularly chilling local mystery. An old, forgotten property where locals claim to have witnessed a lonely, recurring apparition, the ghost of a girl in white. It was an invitation into the darkness.
4 metros aí,
primeiro
velho.
vídeo acho que ele não viu, André.
O Luan,
Ele viu só os novos agora. Daqui.
o
Eu
Luan.
não vi os primeiros. Hein, tio? Ô, tio.
Tipo assim, parecia que tinha alguém aqui.
Chegou a me arrepiar. Eu tava assistindo o vídeo editando, né, André? Eu fui editar o vídeo, eu mandei um print pra esse cara, eu liguei pra ele.
Você me ligou.
Eu falei, André, você viu na janela? Ele falou assim, não, mano. Eu falei, André, se eu tivesse visto esse bagulho na janela, eu não tinha gravado aquele dia.
Não tinha entrado na casa, Márcio. Tão cabuloso que foi.
Aqui só vocês falaram, velho. Tá doido?
E o outro, né, Luan? O outro, a gente tava ali, ó. O Luan tava ali.
Ô!
Eu escutei.
Fica quieto.
Que é isso, velho?
Fica quieto.
Peraí, deixa eu ir na frente.
Cuidado, André. Cuidado. Foi na direita aí, André. Aqui é muito barulho, mano. É muito
Cuidado
barulho.
aqui, ó.
Cuidado com o soalho aí, ó. Tem um buracão aí.
Tem alguém aqui? É você, menina?
André. Vou falar uns negócios pra vocês aqui. Cheguei, André. Cheguei. Vou falar pra vocês, ó. Presta atenção. A hora que eu entrei aqui na casa, eu vi meio com um pano branco, mano.
Calma.
Hã?
Olha o que é?
Você tá doido? Que é isso? Peraí.
Barulho é esse? Deve ser algum bicho, mano.
É passarinho.
Passarinho.
Passou voando.
Assustador, mano. Sinistro.
Tá bem, tio?
Tô bem,
Hã?
tô bem.
Bem?
Tô bem.
Tá tranquilo, Márcio?
Tô bem. Mas parece que tá estranho.
Fica tranquilo, cara.
Não, não,
Respira.
não, tô bem. Quer ir embora? Quer ir embora a gente vai, né? Pra você ter vindo aqui.
Não, não deu uma palpitação assim, mas
They begin to explore the decaying shell of the house.
Tá de boa?
tô de boa.
Que isso? Ô tio, cuidado! André, vai!
Ela apareceu aonde?
Aonde que ela apareceu? Bora. Ô tio! Ô meu tio, André! Pega meu tio, mano! Ô, cara, vambora, velho! Ô, André!
Vamos,
Ô, André do céu!
Luan, mano.
Ô, Luan! Vou capturar essa menina, mano! Menina! Pera aí, por favor, espera aí. Com o meu tio, fica com o meu tio aí.
O que aconteceu?
Bicho, a porta fechou lá, um troço estranho.
O que aconteceu?
Ô, cara, ufa, velho. Você viu o Luan gritou lá, viu a menina, velho, tá louco? Fica com o meu tio, André.
Mano, vem aqui e volta, velho. Combinado não deixar sozinho, mano.
Pera aí, mano.
Volta. Luan.
Eu quero descobrir o que é isso. Menino.
Volta, mano. Luan.
Menina.
Luan.
A gente vê... André, calma, André. Calma, mano.
Sozinho, mano. Você
Calma.
tá sozinho.
Menino.
Tá, mano, ele tá sozinho. Tio.
A gente veio só conversar com você, menina.
Tá sozinho, Márcio.
Vai aí, vai. Vamos.
Vem, mano. Vem, cara. Junto, meu.
Cara,
Mas aonde que você viu ela, Luan? Aonde que você viu ela?
Luan.
Aonde que vocês viram?
Na porta. Céu, me deu um... Olha.
Standing there is a figure, dressed in white, completely motionless, a nightmarish vision that looks as if it has crawled directly out of the movie The Ring Pure. Animal panic rips through the team, and in that instant, the door slams shut with impossible force. Was it a ghost, or a cruel trick by someone hiding in the shadows? The debate can last forever, but the timing, the violent slam of the door, and the terrifying appearance of that figure all happened at once. Number 2. Some streets are not just abandoned, they are cursed. In Cleveland, Ohio, there is one such place, a stretch of urban decay known as Holton Avenue. At its dark heart stands the first Hungarian Baptist church, a hollowed-out house of God built in 1913. In April of 2016, this holy ground was desecrated when the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was discovered within its walls. Her attacker was a ghost who was never found. In July 2023, Chris Hill decided to walk into that same darkness to film the church and the other skeletal remains of Holton Avenue inside. The walls don't just peel, they weep. The graffiti isn't just art, it's a series of frantic warnings. As he ventures into the suffocating basement, Chris finds a bizarre misplaced omen. An action figure of a giraffe. He freezes. He's been here before, and he knows with chilling certainty that toy was not here last time. Someone else has been here. Recently, Chris knows these places have watchers. He sets up cameras not just to film the decay, but to catch the eyes he feels staring back at him from the shadows.
That's weird. That was upstairs. Actually, it looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy. sorry. I didn't know nobody lived there. It smelled like I knew somebody was in there.
Number 1.
In a rough, forgotten corner of Cleveland, Ohio, stands the corpse of Robert Fulton Elementary. For 92 years it has stood, and for the last 13, it has been left to rot, because the city has plans to one day tear it down, to exorcise this urban blight from the neighborhood, a place residents call an eyesore and a hotspot for crime. But those plans are still just whispers. And for now, Robert Fulton Elementary remains one of the creepiest abandoned schools in the country. In May of 2023, explorer Chris Hill from the channel Urbex Hill decided to step back into the nightmare for a second time. His first visit, back in 2022, was a descent into auditory horror, porn he recorded, strange humming, disembodied chanting, and violent, unexplained banging coming from the empty rooms. He left a chilling warning in that first video. His own words are testament to the danger. I would not recommend anyone explore this school. You risk getting robbed, or worse.
The decay is crazy in here.
After these incidents, the vast majority of people would be too terrified to even think of going back. But 2 years later, Chris decided to make a second visit, alone. At 1 o'clock in the morning, from the moment his new footage begins, it's clear Robert Fulton Elementary belongs in a different category of urban decay. What makes it so unsettling is the knowledge that just over a decade ago, children were learning in these classrooms. Now, it looks like something torn directly from a horror movie. The pitch darkness and the extreme state of the building create an incredibly creepy atmosphere. Not many people would dare go in there at night, much less alone. For a building abandoned for only 13 years, it is in a much worse state than others left vacant for decades longer. But Chris presses on, his light cutting through dark corridors with peeling walls and random debris. As he ventures deeper, he starts hearing strange noises again, but nobody seems to be around. He continues his exploration in the chilling silence, even as the upper floors seem extremely unstable. Chris shows his expertise, avoiding the surfaces that crack and groan under his feet. After about 15 minutes, he goes down into the basement, arguably the most deteriorated part of the school. Here, he finds indications that other people could be living in the darkness. He also discovers what appears to be a boiler room, now completely flooded with black, stagnant water. At around the 30-minute mark, a loud banging noise echoes from one of the rooms, and it becomes very clear that Chris is not alone. As he steps into a classroom, he finds an eerie message written on the chalkboard. It reads, "Don't explore alone." A paper sign on a door repeats the warning, "Keep out." Despite the clear warnings, he goes inside only to find more signs that somebody is living there. This is where his visit takes a very chilling turn. Fearing for his life after hearing the blood-curdling scream, he sprints out of the building to safety, hoping that the man wasn't following him. If you look closely at the footage, you can see the outline of the screaming man when Chris peels back the curtain to his room. But upon reviewing the footage later that night, he found something else, even more unsettling. When he first walked into the building, his camera caught something that he didn't notice at the time. In the distance, a man's shadow can be seen walking into one of the rooms. It's not clear where the man went, but based on the strange noises Chris heard, it's very likely the man was watching him all along. Although the scream was terrifying, it's worth mentioning that the room he entered was probably the man's home. From the squatter's perspective, it was probably just as terrifying to see a random man pull back the curtain to his room. These kinds of encounters can often get violent very quickly, but thankfully Chris once again made it out safely. He hasn't uploaded new footage of the location since then. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through the abandoned and forgotten. If these haunted places gave you shivers, imagine what's waiting in our next video. And don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe to our scary channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss the horrors lurking in the shadows. Until next time, stay scared.